Think about it for a second. When was the last time the United States Congress formally declared war? It was World War II. Every major conflict since then, from Korea and Vietnam to the long wars in the Middle East, has been fought under other authorities. It's been a slow creep of engagement, never a big announcement. Some experts believe this is exactly what's happening now, just on a global scale. It's a different kind of world war, fought with less head-on confrontation and more proxy conflicts, economic warfare, and cyber attacks. The idea that a global war needs one single trigger is a dangerous fantasy. World War I was practically inevitable long before an archduke was assassinated. The Cold War was a worldwide conflict fought with spies, coups, and economic pressure that never got an official start date. Today, what we're seeing is a series of crises that are no longer isolated events. They're all starting to connect and feed off each other. What we're witnessing isn't a handful of disconnected regional problems. It's a single, undeclared global conflict being fought on multiple fronts by a group of adversaries who are increasingly working together. The most obvious front is the physical one, a network of shooting wars that are strategically linked by shared weapons, intelligence, and a common goal: to tear down the American-led world order that's been in place since the Cold War ended. Just look at Ukraine. This is not just some regional border dispute. It's a grinding industrial-scale war between Russia and the collective West. The U.S. and its allies have poured a staggering amount of weapons, training, and intelligence into Ukraine, making it the definition of a proxy war. And Russia? It's completely retooled its economy for a long, grinding conflict, fueled by a lifeline of artillery shells from North Korea. South Korean intelligence estimates that Pyongyang has shipped somewhere around 5 million shells to Russia. So you have North Korean shells being fired by Russian guns to kill Ukrainians being supplied by American weapons. That's not an isolated crisis. That's an interconnected global front. Now pivot to the Middle East. In April 2024, Iran shattered a decades-long shadow war by launching a direct missile and drone attack on Israel. That barrage of over 300 projectiles was a massive escalation, and it was shot down not just by Israel, but by a coalition that included the US, the UK, France, and Jordan, pulling Western powers directly into the line of fire. It's part of a spiral of violence in the region that now involves more than 20 countries, directly or indirectly. At the same time, in the Red Sea, the Iran-backed Houthis have been relentlessly attacking commercial ships. These attacks are a huge deal. The route through the Suez Canal handles up to 12% of all global trade, and now ships are being forced to take the long, expensive trip around Africa. This has prompted direct military strikes from the US and UK. Don't call it piracy. This is economic warfare with a military edge designed to squeeze the global economy. And over in the Pacific, the pressure is constantly building. China has normalized aggressive military drills around Taiwan, shattering records for air incursions. These aren't just political statements. They are rehearsals for an invasion. They're designed to wear down Taiwan's military and exhaust its ability to respond, making it that much harder to spot when a real attack might be coming. These fronts aren't separate. They're all linked. The second major front in this undeclared war is economic. Bombs are loud, but silent weapons targeting trade, energy, and money can be just as powerful. Right now, we're seeing a slow-motion rebellion against the US dollar. After Russia was booted from the SWIFT international payment system, a bloc of nations, we're talking Russia, China, Iran, and even traditional US partners like Saudi Arabia, hit the accelerator on finding ways to trade without using dollars. This de-dollarization is a direct shot at the very foundation of American global power. Trade itself has become a weapon. The US has hit China with sweeping bans on advanced semiconductors, which is basically a modern economic blockade designed to halt its technological growth. In return, Russia has used its gas supplies as a weapon against Europe, while Iran and its Houthi proxies continue to disrupt those vital shipping lanes. But here's the problem. While America is flexing its economic muscle abroad, its foundations at home are showing cracks. Projections show the U.S. national debt soaring past $38 trillion by 2026. For fiscal year 2026, the government is on track to spend $1 trillion a year just on interest payments. This raises a terrifying question. Can the U.S. actually afford a multi-front, high-intensity conflict? Our rivals are betting that the answer is no. This economic war is a war of attrition, and America's own balance sheet might be its greatest vulnerability. The third, and maybe the most unnerving, front is the invisible war being fought online. In the 21st century, the first shots of a world war aren't fired with gunpowder. They're fired with malicious code. Cyber operations completely blur the line between peace and war. They can be the opening salvo of a physical attack or just a constant, low-level campaign of sabotage. We've seen hints of this. Remember that massive Facebook outage in 2021? Now, that turned out to be an internal technical error. But what's deeply unsettling is that it happened at the exact same time as one of China's largest ever military incursions into Taiwan's airspace. It might have been a coincidence, but it's a stark reminder of how a single digital failure could have massive physical consequences. Imagine a war over Taiwan that doesn't start with ships, but with a flicker on a screen. A cyber attack that blinds the island's radar and paralyzes its defenses before a single shot is fired. The real danger here is the anonymity and the risk of a terrible miscalculation. A massive ransomware attack that takes down a country's power grid, hospitals, and financial system could easily be seen as an act of war, demanding a real-world military response. This front is everywhere and nowhere, all at once. Just like the world split into opposing camps before the great wars of the last century, we're seeing a new global divide take shape. It's not as formal as the old alliances, but it's every bit as real. On one side, you have the US and its traditional allies, NATO, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and others. This group is working together to back Ukraine and manage the escalations in the Middle East. On the other side, a loose axis of resistance has formed, mostly made up of China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Some analysts have even given them a nickname, the Crinks. This isn't a formal pact. It's more an alliance of convenience, united by their shared goal of challenging the US-led system. And their cooperation is deadly serious. North Korea is shipping millions of artillery shells to Russia. Iran is supplying the drones that its proxies use to attack US forces and global shipping. And all the while, Russia and China provide the diplomatic and economic cover for these actions on the world stage. This isn't theoretical. It's a functioning, multinational war machine operating across continents. If you're starting to see the connections that the mainstream story often misses, and you want to keep exploring the powerful forces that are reshaping our world, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. We have to understand what's really going on if we're going to navigate what's coming. America is waiting for a clear, unambiguous signal that World War III has begun. It's waiting for a moment that's never going to come. The war is already here. It's being fought in the trenches of Ukraine with North Korean artillery, in the shipping lanes of the Red Sea with Iranian-backed missiles, in the boardrooms where the future of the dollar is being decided, and in the digital shadows of cyberspace. Some experts describe this as a fragmented world war, a clash between rival blocs that's happening everywhere at once. While America is looking at its watch, its adversaries are looking at the map. They're coordinating, they're adapting, and they are fighting a war of 1,000 cuts, designed to bleed American power, strain its military, and break its economy. The first step to figuring out how to win a war is recognizing that you're in one. And right now, America doesn't even know it's on the battlefield.